European regulators are cracking down on ultra-fast fashion companies like Shein and Temu. Despite the clothing brand's popularity on social media and among young people, new customs controls will mark them as dangerous goods. For more on this, we're joined by Deutsche Welle's Kassandra Sundt in Berlin. Thank you so much for your time, Kassandra. How did this come about?
Well, these rules will affect so-called low-value parcels, and they're about phasing out exemptions for parcels valued at under 150 euros. So that would make Temu and Shein and the like liable for the sale of unsafe and dangerous products on their platforms. There's also talk about a coordinated joint investigation by the Consumer Protection Cooperation Network into Shein to see whether the company infringes on EU consumer protection rules. Now, there was praise for this move from Germany, where the German Retail Association said that an EU-wide strategy to help make online trade more fair is well overdue.
How big a problem is this in Europe?
Well, in particular, there have been a flood of these kinds of items coming into the European Union now. Approximately 12 million per day are coming into the EU that are worth less than 150 euros, with these parcels from China making up more than 90% of them. It's also important to note here that there have been a dramatic increase of these parcels in recent years. So these regulations are not just rules for rules' sake. The Commission says that they're trying to address unsafe and dangerous goods that are coming into the European Union and into the mailboxes of European residents. And of course, your audience might be wondering, what kind of safety issues are we even talking about here when it comes to fast fashion? But these retailers are also selling goods that include electric heaters that shock people or risk causing fires, cosmetics and sunscreens that are improperly labeled, and crash helmets that are, quote, inadequate.
And so outside of Europe, are we seeing regulators elsewhere crack down on these ultra-cheap goods as well?
Yes and no. So the United States is a big player here, the world's largest economy. And of course, U.S. President Trump's favorite word is tariffs, and his tariffs would affect goods coming from China across the board. And the Trump administration also closed a small goods customs loophole. The threshold there was for up to $800 US and allowed these small packages to forego duties or inspections when shipped to individuals. Those rules now gone away with. Australia also has a similar loophole, actually, of 1,000 Australian dollars, or just over 600 USD for comparison, though there have been calls for a government inquiry into Shein and Temu about whether they're paying the appropriate tax in Australia for their sales there. But it's not all crackdowns, I should say. Just this month, India actually allowed the relaunch of Shein there after a 5-year ban. So actions by governments are varied, even as consumers seem to gobble up these cheap and fashionable items.
Kassandra Sundt, Deutsche Welle in Berlin, thank you so much for your time. Let's take a look at the satellite first up. A monsoon trough extends